It doesn't matter how stupid a scam might sound to you. I got your nose. Like, even that might have just sent someone into a panic. Doesn't matter how dumb it is, people fall for these kind of scams every single day. The most absurd, most unbelievable things that you ask yourself, who could possibly be that moronic to actually fall victim to it? Well, people do every single day. The reason why these scams exist is because they are successful. And today we're going to talk about one that just happened in my own backyard, Florida. More specifically, Bradenton, which is pretty close to Tampa. I could probably piss into the wind and have a golden shower hit this scammer here while he's mowing his lawn. Now, it's not just one scam either. This actually has quite a few layers. It's a deep onion of scams, and it's all the most unbelievable shit where you ask yourself, who could fall for it? And you're about to find out who. So the perpetrator here, the scammer, is a gentleman who looks like an unholy fusion dance between Larry the Cable Guy and Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Well, what started with a friend request turned into months of talking, and a woman in Frisco, Texas thought she'd hit the jackpot with her new friend, Elon Musk. He'd promised her a huge return for investing with him.
And as Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon reports, the person behind the keyboard was not Elon Musk, but a man from Bradenton, who police say was ripping her off.
This is actually the oldest trick in the book. I'm pretty sure this scam predates the birth of Jesus Christ. And it is a scam that a lot of elderly people fall victim to constantly, which is always sad, of course, and it's a scam that's existed for as long as communication has, with people lying to get money out of them, saying like, hey, give me money and I'll give you money in return. They pretend to be something that they're not with some kind of phony baloney nonsense. But with the internet, they've been able to like crank that shit up. They're going plus ultra on that scam, and it's been significantly more effective, which is very surprising to me, just how drastically the sentiment around online activity has changed in the older generation. Because when I was growing up, my parents and grandparents put the fear of God in me about like, don't post anything online that would be like an identifier, like don't post anything private online, don't trust anything or anyone that you meet online. Whereas nowadays, that notion is completely extinct. The older generation looks at you like you're weird if you don't have your fucking phone number posted on your Twitter account or something. Like, they're going hog wild, believing everything and everyone, ripping their shirt off, twirling it over their head like, yeah, Queef Wellington's revealing the truth. There is plutonium in the toilet paper. We have to go back to using leaves, raw leaves and poison ivy to clean ourselves. It's like, hey, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit. It just seems totally different, but maybe now it's just the access to information. You see more of it. Maybe this has always been happening, but man, it really does just seem like every 70-year-old is just waiting for a random Facebook friend request so they can send that stranger all of their money for no fucking reason.
For a 74-year-old woman, a friend request sent and accepted on Facebook brought on a new and seemingly powerful friendship.
She would communicate on a daily basis with him.
She believes she was talking with Elon Musk, and he told her he had a plan for her future.
A common misconception is that only old people fall for this kind of scam. Like, oh, you gotta be geriatric and senile to think that Elon Musk would contact you and say that he has a plan and that you should give him money. That's just complete fucking barnacles right there. Only, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe even less, and it still goes on today, there was that massive YouTube scam stream that got started up with a looped Elon Musk video that had a link to a Bitcoin wallet that was asking everyone watching the stream to send Bitcoin to that wallet and he would double it. And so many people fell victim to that. And you know 74-year-olds aren't using Bitcoin 2-3 years ago. So the main people that were victims to that were younger people. And that scam, the Elon Musk doubling crypto scam, still goes on to this day to wild degrees of success. You see the streams all over YouTube right now too. I guarantee you can probably find 5 of those bitches live at this moment, and there are people falling for them every single day, not just old people. So this scam of, I'm Elon Musk and I need money so that way you can make money, I'm here for you, doesn't just work on a 74-year-old woman.
You give us $500,000, I can make you $55 million.
She jumped at the opportunity.
Without her husband's knowledge, she started investing with Elon Musk.
It's kind of heartbreaking to see how trusting people are in a situation like this, where this 74-year-old woman receives a friend request from someone she believes is Elon Musk, and she thinks he's there to try and help her. He just needs a little bit of cash for that. He just needs, you know, a few tiddlywinks of doubloons. Maybe $500,000, $500,000. Those wacky little numbers on the back of the credit card. That's all Elon needs in order for her to get fucking $55 million return. And she believes it. Somehow she knows who Elon Musk is, knows that he's worth billions of dollars, wealthiest man in the world, and she thinks that, oh, this is actually Elon reaching out on a random fucking Tuesday through Facebook to a random 74-year-old woman that he's never met. Like, I bet she was so excited, she probably went and put some cookies in the oven for him, baked him a fucking pie or something to thank him.
But Detective Jim Carula with the Bradenton Police Department's Elder Fraud Unit says the woman transferred $250,000 to bank accounts not belonging to Elon Musk, but to this man.
Grant that to me.
An imposter, according to police, 56-year-old Jeffrey Moynihan Jr. of Bradenton.
This guy looks like the bad guy in every 90s Christmas film. Like, he looks like that business guy that's like, bah humbug, there is no Santa Claus. Like, he just has like this distinct look about him where it's like evolution knew he was going to be a scammer piece of shit, so it like molded his whole being into that caricature. It's shocking just how closely he imagines what I picture in my head every scammer to look like.
We have an arrest warrant for your arrest.
Detective Carula says the woman's husband says she gave Elon Musk, aka Moynihan, $600,000. He's continuing to track down where the other money went.
What and who you see is not who's typing back at you. And I think these people, you have to realize that.
Which should be a pretty obvious lesson that's becoming more and more rare for people to have learned. And I can't believe it's something you even need to learn. It should just be something you know. Anybody can make a Facebook account with a profile pic of Elon Musk. There's probably a billion of those fucking things floating around right now. You can see them all over Twitter too. But just because it reaches out to you and it has the name Elon Musk, it doesn't mean that it is. There are 1,000 things you can do to avoid getting scammed like this, yet so many people just don't do it because they are either in a desperate situation or they hear something that just sounds like this is life-changing. I need to at least try. So then they fall victim to a scam like this. And in this case, it was, she was so trusting, and what Elon Musk was saying was so good that she went behind her husband's back and sent 600,000 clams to a random Facebook account.
But here's where things take a turn. It appears Moynihan may have been the target of a romance scam as well.
Mr. Moynihan stating that his girlfriend is the mastermind behind it and that he had no involvement. He is stating he's never actually even met his girlfriend.
Bang! I bet you didn't expect that. So the scammer who was pulling off the impersonation Elon Musk doubling money RuneScape scam is actually, potentially, the victim of a romance scam himself. He is the victim of the same scam he is doing to the 74-year-old woman without recognizing that. I think is the angle he's trying to play with that. I'm a little confused with the way that it's stated here because I think what's also possible is that Jeffrey is claiming that his girlfriend is the one that did this to the 74-year-old woman and he was totally hands-off. It must have been her, yet it was his bank account that got all of the money. So that doesn't really make sense unless he was the victim of a romance scam here, gave her his bank account info, and then she used it on the 74-year-old woman and he didn't know anything about it, and now he's bringing it up here. Or the way that I initially interpreted it is that he has this mysterious girlfriend, this supermodel, superstar, 3-breast mega milkers that he hasn't met before, but she wanted him to talk to the 74-year-old woman as if he was Elon Musk to get money from her. So like that's the way I initially interpreted it, that he is right now talking to this imaginary girlfriend that is telling him to do this. So he's saying, like, I'm kind of blameless. It was my girlfriend who was making me do it. That's the way that it initially came across to me. Mind-boggling. Romance scams are becoming increasingly common as well, where somebody pretends to be, this hot, big-tittied goth chick that wants your meat, but she can't quite get out to you because she's in, like, a bad financial spot. So you got to be sending her money so that way she can eventually come be with you, be your wife, because she loves you. Like, it's love. And what, are you going to deny love? I don't think so. So this douchebag, this stupid asshole is like, okay, well, my girlfriend is telling me that if I don't have the money to pay her, maybe I should try getting it by pretending to be someone I'm not to get money from this lady. And he doesn't connect the dots in his rotted noodle that he is also right now being scammed. It's a beautiful disaster. Now, I do think the most likely explanation is that this guy is desperately making this up, just pulling it out of his ass. Like, oh, no, that couldn't have been me. It must have been my girlfriend. Yeah, my girlfriend, super hot. You wouldn't know her. She goes to a different college. But yeah, she must have, logged on to my account and used all my bank account information in order to receive money from the 74-year-old woman that she was scamming, pretending to be Elon Musk on all of my accounts. That's likely what it was. So he could just be doing this to try and like lessen his sentence by saying like, oh no, it wasn't me, it was this person, and I don't know who that person is, but it's definitely not me, it's my girlfriend. Don't know her, never met her, but it's her. Like, you might as well just blame it on like fucking Sasquatch at that point.
As BPD continues their investigation, neighbors of Moynihan remain in disbelief.
It's shocking. It's just surprising.
In Bradenton, Kimberly Quizon, Fox 13 News.
I decided to leave that little scene in there where they talk to the neighbors because I always find that to just be like pretty useless most of the time, where the news will just like knock on neighbors' doors and be like, hey, what do you think about your neighbor getting arrested? 9 times out of 10 they're like, oh wow, that's crazy. And in this case, the guy's just like, shocking. Like, it's not like they're going to have a deep insight on that. Like, what's this guy going to do? But like, oh no, actually, this doesn't surprise me even a little bit. This doesn't even have me raise an eyebrow, because actually one time, Jeffrey came over knocking on my door with a voice changer, pretending to be Marilyn Monroe. So, like, I always knew he was capable of impersonating someone. It was just a matter of time before he found a sucker to give him money. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, why even leave that part in? Like, here's what the neighbors had to say. Whoa. All right, anyway, back to you.
Grand theft of what?
Was that?
Grand theft of what?
I'm not the one that wrote the warrant. When the detective comes out here, he'll explain it for you.
Just wanted to show you a wee bit more of the body cam footage here, where he plays dumb. I mean, he is dumb, but like where he pretends he doesn't know why they'd be there. And he doesn't have a shirt on, which had me giggling a little bit because this man got interrupted like 15 beers deep by this and didn't even get the chance to put a shirt on in time, so he's just walking around with cold hard nipples in the police station. And anyway, hopefully the victim gets her money back from this. Hopefully they're able to track all that down and give her money back. That's really about it. So yeah. Wow. Zoinks. Goodness gracious. Jinkies. We may be in the midst of one of the wackiest moments in internet content creation history. If these reports are accurate, and I can't speak to the authenticity myself, I haven't had my team of analysts really dive into the weeds of it and get down into the meat here, but there are reports that XQC just signed a 2-year, $100 million streaming deal with Kick, and it's not even exclusive to Kick. If that number is accurate, that would make it the 12th largest sports contract ever signed. Now, of course, you'd have to be huffing some very serious glue to try and conflate streaming with professional athletes, but it just goes to show you the value of the contract here and just how many doubloons we're talking. I came into this world as a little baby kicking, screaming, shitting my diapers, and now I'm kicking, screaming, shitting my diapers all over again because I can't believe what we're seeing here. I have been tapped into the mainframe of internet wackiness for over a decade now. I'm like Charles Xavier in this throne here, in Cerebro, just looking at all of the goofiness happening across the web. And I've been doing that for so long, and I could have never foreseen something like this happening. A 9-figure deal for a streamer to stream on a different platform. And not even exclusively, mind you. This is a non-exclusive contract for 2 years, meaning XQC gets to have his cake, eat it too, and fuck the baker. So he can stream on Kick and then still stream on Twitch all the same. He did make a Twitch stream earlier today, kind of to go over the announcement as well as the plan going forward. He's saying he's going to be streaming on Kick quite a bit, obviously, but he can still have the freedom to stream on Twitch when he wants to. I'm going to go ahead and rip the band-aid off and throw a little cold water in the face of all the juicers here that are under the impression he'll probably still be active on Twitch. I don't think he will. He legitimately has no incentive to stream on Twitch. Twitch is a platform that has banned XQC like 5 times. It is also a platform that has no real contracts for top streamers anymore, as well as the lowest sub-revenue split among any streaming platform available. Whereas Kick has the highest sub-revenue split, a 95.5. And I would swear on a stack of Bibles with a high level of confidence that XQC not only has that $100 million for 2 years, but also gets to keep 100% of the sub-revenue he earns, which is 95.5 split. So why the fuck would he stream on Twitch often at all? He'll probably use it as just a booster, a signal booster to get the juicers on Twitch over to Kick, letting them know like, hey, this was a fun stream on Twitch for the last 20 minutes. I'm going to finish the rest on Kick. I'll see you there. Just to, you know, filter viewers over to Kick. That's my guess. But again, I'm just a dumb little fucking caveman here speculating from the armchair. Now, if you ask me, this is bad news for Twitch. This just drove a wooden stake right through the vampire's heart and then shoved garlic in its face. This is a big poach here. Now, I've mentioned this a few times in the past, but Twitch is a very top-heavy site where the top 1% of streamers on the platform account for a very large chunk of the overall watch time on the platform. So when you take the biggest streamer off of the site, you do make an impact on Twitch as a whole, really. And over the last year or so, Twitch has been continuously hurting itself in confusion. It has been making horrible decision after horrible decision over and over and over again, and it's been hemorrhaging users. A lot of streamers have been going elsewhere, whether it's YouTube or Kick or even Rumble some streamers have been going to. It is taking streamers from Twitch and going elsewhere. The 50-50 sub split on Twitch isn't enough to be competitive anymore. The over-reliance on intrusive ads isn't enough to keep small streamers on there because it's ruining the experience for their communities, which makes it hard for them to continue to thrive on the platform, so they go elsewhere like YouTube. Plus, the exclusivity on Twitch makes it hard for streamers to want to stay when they could stream on other platforms not exclusive. So they could do a stream on YouTube and then a stream on Kick or, you know, this and that. Twitch has just been a platform that has been struggling to maintain its, you know, dominance on the streaming space because it's been constantly losing its footing through bad decisions. Now, yesterday, Twitch did announce that it's taking the tiniest little baby step in the right direction. They announced that they're offering the Partner Plus program where if you reach a certain threshold, which is like 350 reoccurring subs, so not gift subs or anything, that's tier 1s, 2s, and 3s. If you reach that threshold, you unlock 70-30 sub split for a year. And that's like the tiniest little step in the right direction, them walking back their hardline stance on only 50-50 forever, no more 70-30. They must be starting to panic and realizing that streamers have other options. But this covers up to 100k, then goes back to 50-50, and it only lasts for a year if you don't maintain, I believe. So it's also very strict. 350 reoccurring paid subs, no gift subs or anything like that, is not an easy number to hit. That is a lot. That is a ton. So this isn't exactly super helpful for smaller streamers. And even a lot of medium streamers don't have that level of sub engagement. That's still a ton. So it really is, once again, just like the smallest boost for the bigger streamers on the platform, only up to a certain level. It's not amazing. Like, this is like the weakest possible implementation of a decent idea you could do. Like, it is, like I said, a very, very small baby step in the right direction of a good change. Twitch is a victim of its own hubris here. It got complacent at the top and it got greedy. So it is crumbling its own empire from its greed. That's why all of these other streaming platforms are growing so quickly and why so many people are abandoning the sinking ship of Twitch. That's just the reality of it. They are out of touch. They lost direction on what to do with the platform, so they just keep rolling out bad choices. And even when they do have a good idea, they're too afraid to actually just commit to a good idea. So yeah, it's very frustrating. Now, I've seen the obvious comparison being drawn with Mixer because you might remember Mixer actually was able to steal away Ninja from Twitch back when Mixer still existed. And I'm sure all of you have forgotten that name. That's like an ancient relic on the internet, even though it hasn't been that long in the grand scheme of things. But it died so quickly and with such like a sad wet fart of a swan song that most people have forgotten it ever even existed. Mixer stole Ninja. They paid a ton of money. They shelled out many clams to get Ninja, as well as Shroud and King Ithalian, but Ninja was the #1 streamer on Twitch, and Mixer got him. And it didn't work for them. The site still inevitably crumbled, and it never got popular. It always remained kind of this pitiful little joke of a service. However, I don't really think Kick is following that same blueprint. I don't think its fate is set in stone the same way Mixer's was. I made a video about this on my second channel talking about the streaming wars. Kick is accomplishing something that Mixer never did. It's having people organically sign up and choose to stream there as a first option. I read a report the other day, take it with a grain of salt, I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but only a week ago, Kick had an influx of 1.2 million users sign up to the platform. Mixer probably never even saw 1.2 million people go to their site across the entire time it was alive. That was 1.2 million users signing up to the platform, according to the reports. So Kick is actually just getting users to go there, which is something Mixer never had happen. That was a pipe dream for that platform. Now, Kick blew up because it kind of got the reputation of like the detention class, right? Like all of the banned streamers went to Kick. Like Aiden Ross, which immediately blasted the platform off, and a lot of other like controversial streamers went to Kick after they were banned on Twitch and shit like that. And then a lot of controversial things happened, like the whole streaming of the Super Bowl and all that shit. So it really had a very bad reputation, and still does for many reasons, but it's started to shake that a little bit because a lot of streamers that aren't banned on Twitch have decided to move over to Kick even without a contract, just because the sub split is so much better than the 50-50 you get on Twitch. You don't need as many viewers on Kick to make a living because you don't need as many subs to make a living. So a 95-5 split is very appealing to a lot of streamers. So there's recently been a lot of new creators there trying out the Kick space, which has led to a lot of new users on the site. So even when the big players on Kick aren't online, it's not a barren, empty wasteland. There's still quite a few users through quite a few different categories. So that, I do think, sets it apart from Mixer. I don't know if that necessarily means it's going to succeed or anything. I don't have a fucking crystal ball. I can't predict the future. But I will say that it does seem to be doing a lot better than Mixer did, even before the XQC signing. Now, I do want to... yucky. I do want to talk about something that a lot of people talk about, and I do think is a very important talking point. Kick is backed by Stake, which is a crypto gambling casino. It's why their pocketbook is so big. And obviously, a lot of people aren't too thrilled about gambling being so prominent on Kick. As of right now, so the slots and casinos category on Kick is their biggest, and it's really not even close. So that leaves a pretty bad taste in most people's mouths, mine included. I've been very outspoken about sponsored gambling not being great. You're just selling your audience on an addiction. You're trying to get them to sign up for crypto casinos and shit like that. And a lot of times they're not even using their own money, they're using house money. That is something I very much think is a load of dog shit. I think that is awful. Now, when it comes to Kick, I did extensive research on this out of curiosity because I kept hearing that Kick was mainly a front to get people addicted to Stake gambling because Stake owns it. Through everything I've read, and from every stream that I've watched on Kick, there hasn't been a single Stake advertisement or any gambling advertisement that I've seen, unless I've somehow missed them. And I haven't read reports from other users or any other publications that are reporting on gambling ads being run across any of the Kick categories outside of slots and casinos. The only place where gambling sponsors or Stake itself appear is in the slots category for Stake sponsors and shit like that. So I guess kind of like what Twitch used to be before the gambling ban last year, where all of the gambling ads and sponsors existed in that one category. That appears to be how it operates on Kick as of this moment. I haven't seen anything that pushes to Stake or any gambling site outside of Stake-sponsored streamers in the slots and casinos category. Now, again, maybe I've missed it, maybe there just hasn't been enough information about it in articles, but as of right now, that's the impression that I've been getting. And also from what I've been reading, it seems that Stake wants to separate itself from Kick. It wants to be two very separate entities that don't really feed off of each other. They want it to be completely separate. And I guess that's what they're going for here. I don't know how successful it is as of right now. Again, no matter how you spin it, pumping gambling is just bad. Now, I do think it's always worth mentioning that Twitch isn't squeaky clean either. It's backed by Amazon. Amazon is no saint of a corporation either. Amazon isn't a company of angels and high morals. that is also a pretty evil corporation that backs Twitch. So both of the big players in streaming, and YouTube as well, being backed by Google, Google's done so much shady shit as well. None of these corporations are exactly benevolent overlords worthy of celebration. They're all bad and evil in their own right. It's just a matter of which platform you as a user or you as a streamer feel most comfortable on, I think, at the end of the day. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly because that is something that is inevitably always going to be discussed when Kick is in the conversation. And of course, it's completely understandable why. So this whole thing has been really wild to watch unfold. I actually would have never envisioned a world where Twitch would be in the position it's in today. For the last year, the writing's been on the wall. If you go back 8 months, I made a video called Twitch is Dying, and that was kind of right on the money. Twitch has been continuously going downhill, and now all of the competitors are being elevated substantially because of it. And it's all Twitch's fault. It is entirely Twitch's fault. So it's wild to watch a business sink itself when it had a complete stranglehold on the market. Twitch was the streaming platform. Now it's becoming the joke. So just wanted to talk about this because obviously this is the biggest content creator deal I've ever seen. I think it's probably the biggest content creator deal ever, hands down, like in general. So yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about that a little bit. That's it. So yeah. I just watched a crazy video from Code Blue Cam about a drunk driver, and really, drunk is not the proper nomenclature. That doesn't really tell the whole story. He is cartoonishly inebriated, to the point where I was half expecting him to start burping up bubbles like a character out of Tom and Jerry when they drink a root beer. So this goober was driving the wrong way and actually almost hit Kamala Harris head on. So he starts getting interviewed by the Secret Service at the scene as well.
But as her motorcade made its way to the airport along I-94, a vehicle driving in the wrong direction approached, narrowly missing the convoy by just feet. After passing 29 vehicles involved in the escort, a Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputy at the rear of the motorcade quickly stopped the vehicle, identifying the driver as 55-year-old Wayne Wacker.
Could there be a better name? Wayne Wacker sounds like a superhero who jerks off villains at dangerously high velocities till they give up. Wayne Wacker. It's like a name I would make up for a Dark Souls character.
An open Miller Lite beer can was clearly visible in the center console.
They should have slapped an additional charge on this DUI for his beer of choice being a Miller Lite. I've been saying it for like 8 years now. Miller Lite is the actual worst piss water ever made. Full stop. I can't stand that. If you serve me Miller Lite, I'm leaving. Like, that's a sure, like, you would get me out of an establishment faster by handing me a Miller Lite than you would by telling me it was on fire.
You guys ID and everything? I didn't get anything. Oh, you got your ID on you, sir? What? You got your ID on you? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna need that. Is it in here? Your ID's in here? I don't think so. Where are you coming from tonight, my boss? You don't know? Clearly too little too much to drink, even with your Miller Lite here, huh? Doesn't matter. It sure does.
This man is so lost, truly discombobulated, acting like Robin Williams when he popped out of Jumanji for the first time, wondering what year it is. He is in a trance. He is so drunk he doesn't know what's happening. When the officer picked up the Miller Lite and took it away from Wayne Wacker, I thought he was gonna jump at him like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare to get it back. Like, he looked upset that the Miller Lite was moving out of arm's reach.
Why do you keep pointing at that? I didn't need your ID. I don't care what's in there. Oh, no, still not it.
They get caught in this cutscene here with Wayne having a whack attack. Like, he doesn't know where the ID is, so instead he just, like, slowly moves around like one of the tree imps in Lord of the Rings and, like, just cannot, like, grasp what's going on. He's in a totally different dimension.
Hop on out now. Hop on out of the car. Hop out of the car. We'll talk with my partner.
No, let's get him out first. Let's get him out. That's fine. So unbuckle your seatbelt, sir.
They eventually just decided to skip this cutscene because Wayne was making no progress locating that ID. We'd probably find Atlantis before Mr. Wacker would stumble across his ID.
Down south? Down south? You know you could have killed somebody, right? You're going the wrong way in traffic, man. A very busy highway here. You understand that? Yes. Okay. How much have you had to drink today?
Couple beers.
Couple beers? How long ago?
For this wrong way, I had to start a new car over there.
Tonight? Okay. What's your name, man?
Wayne.
Wayne? Wayne what?
Whacker.
Whacker.
It's a very serious situation. I've made this clear many times over the years. I have literally zero respect for drunk drivers. But even in a situation like this, hearing someone say that their name is Wayne Whacker, I don't know if I'd be able to stop myself from laughing. Like, I don't know how I wouldn't giggle at that name.
U.S. Secret Service agents responded to the traffic stop to speak with Wayne.
Where were you? Like, where were you headed from? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Where were you coming from?
Down a gay bar down in...
A gay bar downtown, or like where?
Yeah.
Now we're getting a little exposition here and some background on the character. They're starting to flesh out the lore of Wayne Whacker. So they lean him against that median because he couldn't really stand super well. So they have him leaning there and he just starts like posting up, fucking taking a chill pill. Like he's about to overdose on chill pills while he's intoxicated. So he's just leaning against there and they're just asking him some like basic questions like, do you remember where you're coming from? And he said that he's coming from a gay bar downtown.
Was it in the center council or where was it at?
It's there.
It's there? Okay.
Out of traffic in the Warwood State Patrol.
Sir, Secret Service.
Gotta be
See a motorcade go by?
What?
See a bunch of cars go by when they're going the wrong way?
No.
You didn't see that?
I have looked by to take that.
Wayne is gripping that like it's a roller coaster ride. He is holding on for dear life there. So the Secret Service comes over to get some answers to some questions to see if this guy was like trying to perform an assassination attempt here. And Wayne, he doesn't even know what's going on. Going the wrong way, doesn't see any of the 29 cars that passed him. He doesn't know what is happening. He is so fucking drunk. In the way that he speaks, it sounds like he's got like peanut butter in his mouth. Like it sounds like he is actually talking in a dream. Like, you know, like when you're in a dream and everything feels like really slow and like odd, like especially throwing a punch. Like that is how he is talking.
Where are you coming from? Car? Home? Alright. How much did you have to drink?
2 beers.
Take a suspicious 979 South 60.
Any idea that Kamala Harris is in town?
Well, I guess I did.
For them to seal that against the
Is that the reason you're going the wrong way on the highway?
No.
Why are we going the wrong way on the highway? Because you're drunk? What?
Drunk.
He admits to being drunk, yet he still says he only drank 2 beers. Usually that whole "I've only had 2 drinks" line from drunk drivers is a tactic employed by those that are trying to convince the others that they're not drunk. Wayne is just like, I'm drunk. Drunk. Speaking like a caveman with like one word. Drunk. I don't even really see the point of why he's lying about how much alcohol he's consumed. Or maybe he's just a super lightweight somehow and he really did only have 2 beers and he ended up that fucking hammered. Though I find that pretty unlikely.
Do you remember what entrance you came up on?
What?
Do you know what entrance ramp you came up on? The right way? You don't remember any of that?
There's no idea other than his UPS employee.
What?
Passport?
I didn't. No.
Do you have a passport? No?
No?
Okay.
What's your height and weight?
I'm fat.
Now the officers can't contain their laughter anymore. He is so fucking inebriated that when asked questions like what's your height and weight, all he can say is fat. And they found his public school ID. Turns out Wayne Whacker is a teacher. And you can clearly see Professor Whacker isn't taking this super seriously. He doesn't understand just how dangerous this was.
Are you motivated by any kind of extremism group? Are you involved or associated with any kind of groups?
No.
Like a military group or like anything like that? Are you a gun holder?
A what?
A gun holder. Like, do you have a concealed carry? Do you own weapons at home?
No.
Anything like that? You don't have any guns at home?
Yeah, I do.
What do you got?
Pretty much the entire time Wayne is smiling, like he has like a perpetual smile as his eyes are almost fully closed. So he almost seems flattered with how many officers and Secret Service agents showed up. He even asked if all of them were there for him, and they said, yeah, you're driving the wrong way down a very busy road. And he goes, really? Like it looked like it was the happiest fucking moment of his life. Like he just went downstairs on Christmas morning and saw the bicycle he's always wanted under the tree from Santa.
Yeah, what school? It's called,
Where's it located, Wayne?
no, it's called,
Alright.
no, wait. What art means you teach, or what do you do? Yeah, what
I'm 100% sure that Wayne was going to try and make up a school name so that way he didn't risk his job with all this, because I think he was able to process that, oh, cops, drunk, this might not be a good look for the school, and now they know I'm a teacher, I'll try and throw him off the trail with a made-up name. But he was too fucked up, he couldn't think of any other name. But I really thought, like, when they asked him, you know, where is it? I thought he was going to reach into his pocket and give him one of these or something. Or hit him with, like, a really stupid name for a school. Like, Education Academy or something. But he just wasn't able to put it all together, so instead he just keeps, like, stalling. Like, he just keeps throwing in, like, filler words. Or maybe he truly is so drunk he just can't even remember where he teaches every day. Also possible, I suppose.
What's the deal?
All right, remember what I told you, Wayne? We're going to do some field sobriety tests to make sure that you're okay to drive, okay? So my
I'm not driving.
Well, you were.
I want you to keep your head straight, but I want you to follow it with just your eyes, okay? Remember what I was saying, Wayne?
Am I doing it right?
Nope. So remember what I was saying? Just keep your head straight, okay? And just follow it with just your eyes.
Oh, just my eyes.
Just your eyes, okay? So you're still keeping your head. All right, you're right.
For so many decades, people have criticized Superman Clark Kent, the disguise, being really lackluster because Clark Kent is just Superman with a pair of glasses on and nothing else. How would people not connect the dots that Clark Kent is Superman? Like, the glasses wouldn't be enough for the disguise. But I totally get it now. When Wayne Wacker took off his glasses, he immediately polymorphed into Alex Jones. Like, he instantly just shapeshifted into Alex Jones. It was like a totally different looking guy. His fucking facial expressions remind me of Super Mario 64 when you start up the game and you can take the little hand and move his nose around and move his mouth around and everything and shake his head around. That is what Wayne Wacker is doing here for the Follow the Light field sobriety test.
2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, you all done, Wayne?
Yeah.
All right, one more test for you. Okay?
As graceful as a ballerina and as elegant as a butterfly. Wayne, you've outdone yourself with that one. I half expected him to go up on his tippy toes and then hit us with a curtsy at the very end of that.
1, 2. 1. Hold on. I'm joking.
That's all right. Just do the best you can.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, we'll move on, Wayne, to we got one more test, okay?
He agreed to the PBT, which resulted in 0.252.
And blow. Keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing.
I did good.
All right, you know what the legal limit to drive in the state of Wisconsin is, Wayne?
No.
Okay, so it's 0.08, okay?
I passed.
All right, so you're at a 0.252, okay? So that's more than 3 times the legal limit. Wayne, you're going to be placed on arrest for OWI tonight, okay?
I can't believe it turned out he was actually drunk. I thought with how well he was doing in those field sobriety tests, it may have been a misunderstanding. Maybe he just got confused with the, you know, where he was going on the road, you know, the ramp threw him for a loop-de-loop and pull type maneuver. But I guess he was actually intoxicated. I'm as stunned as you are.
In the end, Wayne was only charged with felony second-degree recklessly endangering safety and received over $2,700 in traffic citations, including one for operating while intoxicated. Since his last OWI conviction occurred more than 10 years ago, it is being treated as a first offense.
Yeah, so that's how the story of Wayne Wacker and the Miller Lite wraps itself up there. I just had to talk about this a little bit. It was one of the weirder drunk driving body cam videos I've seen from Code Blue Cam or any of the other body cam channels. It was quite a ride. That's really about it. So yeah. There's a marketing trend that's existed for far too long now. It's been years, and it's more cringe than when all companies tried to use Gangnam Style to promote their brand. It's this fixation on diluting all logos to just be bold text with the company name, just this minimalist garbage where it removes all fun and whimsy and personality and completely erases all creativity of logos and just reduces them to the company name on a very bland color. It's like the most sterile shit ever. It's not interesting. I think it super sucks, but this has been the norm for corpo dog shit for a while. I still think the most infamous example is when Staples made an entire E3 press conference to unveil their new logo, where they removed the iconic Staples logo to make this. And then they had, like, paid shills in the audience going, yeah! Whee! All over, like, this Staples logo unveiling, which, again, nobody cares about. It's a worse logo. All you've done is just make a worse logo. And now Cracker Barrel has finally followed suit where they redesigned their logo, and man, did it hit them hard where it hurts the most. Right in their fucking precious nutsack of money. Pretty much overnight, they lost roughly $100 million in value. Their stock took a nosedive into the shitter here. And of course, plenty of people make the argument, it's just a logo, this is so overblown and unnecessary, it's not that big of a deal. And I guess I can kind of understand that, but I also understand why so many people are fed up with the enshittification of things. Like, everything seems to like be going in this direction where it gets boiled down to like the same generic sludge, where everything has to be the most bland, samey poop ass. Like, it's just so unnecessary. Like, changing that logo and making it simpler does nothing for Cracker Barrel or for anybody. It's just a waste of time and resources. And there is more to it. It's not just the logo. They are like redoing the menu. They're redoing the restaurants as well. The idea is they want to make it the Cracker Barrel of today and tomorrow is the verbiage that the CEO used. She actually went and did an interview with Good Morning America where she affirms that Cracker Barrel is really happy with how everything's going and that the response has actually been overwhelmingly positive. I don't know if they're just filter feeding her like 5 like tweets on Twitter that are like, actually this is good. And they're like, yes, we're going in the right direction. But they don't seem at all shocked or rocked or even slightly perturbed that their stock has just nosedived after unveiling the new logo and the plans to like redesign and redo certain elements of Cracker Barrel.
Well, remember, the heart and soul of Cracker Barrel is going to stay the same. And so today we're actually launching a new campaign called All the More, which really highlights how people feel about Cracker Barrel. It's bigger than just a meal. We've got a retail shop. You're going to get great country hospitality with our scratch-made food in our restaurants. And that's really what this campaign celebrates. So we've enlisted a little bit of help from a guy named Jordan Davis. Maybe you've heard of him. He's got a new single and album out, and he's in our ad and is the voice of it as well. And it really, again, just highlights those things that make Cracker Barrel Cracker Barrel.
I know everyone's all excited about Hollow Knight Silk Song around the corner, but I tell you what, I am chomping at the bit to get a piece of that Cracker Barrel ad campaign with Jordan Davis being the hired spokesperson for it. I can't wait. That's exciting. Yippee. Thanks so much for sharing. Basically, this whole interview is her just trying to reassure people that the Cracker Barrel they love is going nowhere, even though they are redoing the inside of the restaurant, even though they are changing the menu and redoing some of the dishes, even though they are changing the logo, and even though they have redesigned their philosophy to be more about the Cracker Barrel of today and tomorrow as opposed to the Cracker Barrel of the past. But other than that, like, everything's exactly the same.
Is the food changing?
The food, well, here's what I'll say about that. Innovation has proven to be really great at Cracker Barrel. People are loving our new menu items. We're reinvigorating our dinner menu.
And a lot of restaurants are leaning and going back to nostalgia, things that the customers are really comfortable with.
We never left it.
Yeah, you never left it, but you're changing up. You're kind of going a different direction. Why is that your strategy?
Yeah, because the Cracker Barrel needs to feel like the Cracker Barrel for today and for tomorrow. And again, the things that you love are still there. We need people to choose us, and we want people to choose us because people love this brand.
People love this brand, which is why we're changing it. Like, it's just, I don't know, it feels really contradictory because, like, this is all about her saying, like, no, everything that makes Cracker Barrel is going to stay the same, you know? We never left nostalgia. Except we are leaving nostalgia. We're modernizing. Like, her whole her whole spiel here, like the entire pitch, is about why the modernization of Cracker Barrel is a good thing and it's the right direction to go for the company. The changing of the menu, the new food, bringing back like some old food. She mentioned like a meal is coming back, or I don't recognize the meal by name. I've only been to Cracker Barrel like maybe 10 times in my life. Actually, all of which have been a pretty decent dining experience. I've never actually had like a really bad time at Cracker Barrel. It is kind of cute as like this old-timey experience. But what she's insisting is like that experience will still be there, but modernized. But that clashes. I don't know how you could modernize an old school, like old style experience. Like that would clash by its very nature, I would think. Like if you're improving the food, great. I never had any big complaints about the food at Cracker Barrel, but if you want to introduce more high quality cuisine options and just upgrade it, that's fine by me. Let it rip. I just don't know why that also means you have to redesign like the entire like brand identity and whatever. To me, it reminds me of what video games have also been doing for a while now, which I fucking hate, and I'm always the first to spit on this, where a new entry into a franchise will have the same name as another entry in the franchise, and it grinds my ass so hard. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, that's actually 6 games I just named right there, because there's 2 of each, and they are so different. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare is different from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is different from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is different from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Like, you see the problem? Like, I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I'm going off on a different tangent. Stop me now. Stop me now before I start getting out of control with the ranting. Point is, Cracker Barrel feels to me like it's doing that same thing, where it's taking Cracker Barrel and introducing Cracker Barrel 2025 on it, which is different. But she's insisting that it's the same, so what's the point in trying to present it as different? Like, just go ahead and make a marketing push that's like, hey, we upgraded our food, we changed these things around, we added new things to the gift shop, some more modern items, we repainted things inside to brighten it up, that kind of thing, whatever. Another thing she mentioned is they're changing the chairs to make more comfortable chairs. Big thumbs up for me. I actually hated the chairs at Cracker Barrel sometimes. My ass is a little bony, so sitting on those chairs is a little uncomfortable for an extended period of time. So changing the chairs there, great idea. Does that also mean that it needs to come with like this whole push of like, Cracker Barrel's new? We've changed the logo and everything. I don't think so, but that's the trend of business these days, where even like the slightest change, you need to introduce the sequel. Like Overwatch. Overwatch 2. We've done almost nothing, and we're calling it Overwatch 2. This is the sequel. It shit sucks. It's just super useless. Like, that's kind of like the DNA that I feel from this Cracker Barrel logo change and like this whole push about like the refreshing of Cracker Barrel. I think ultimately it probably won't change that much, but they have changed the logo. So immediately people will recognize it as something different, even if she's insisting it's going to be the same experience. And I think the logo is worse. It follows another trend I hate of these really boring minimalist logos. I think there's nothing fun or creative about it. It sucks a lot of life out of a brand. It just seems like a huge waste of resources to take a logo that everyone can immediately identify and take everything out of it to just be the name, and then try and present like, Cracker Barrel 2 is here. This is the refresh. But also, it's like the exact same experience that you've always remembered. Don't worry, everything you love about Cracker Barrel is still there. Okay, well then why did you redo the logo, and why are you calling it this huge refresh? It's just, I don't know. It feels super sloppy to me. I'm not surprised to see people aren't really responding well to it. It's worthless.
What if all the customers are coming at you hard enough about the look of the restaurant and they want to go back to the old way? Would you do it?
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So
sure, that's all fine and dandy, but it is not really representative of everyone's perception of this redesign and this refresh. Like, you can anecdotally talk about the managers in Orlando shaking you like, when can we get a remodel? And use that as an indicator that you're going in the right direction, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Like, I feel like, and of course I'm not in the board meetings here, but I feel like you could point to the stock price correlating with when the logo design dropped, and then also couple with all of the feedback you can publicly see from everyone, including your loyal customers, and probably make the assumption that maybe there's more people unsatisfied with this than we're thinking. Like, they're currently writing it off as a vocal minority, but I feel like it's probably a pretty large group of people that isn't really excited about this. Of course, plenty of people that are upset about it are people that never eat at Cracker Barrel and probably never would have stepped foot in one in the first place, but there also are definitely some customers that probably are a bit turned off here because it's following the trend of every other business that is diluting everything that they've built into just being like generic slop looking. Even if that's not the case here with Cracker Barrel, people have already seen this song and dance from plenty of other businesses over the years that a lot of people are just tired of it in general. Now, what I will say is I don't think this will last long. Not like the logo and everything and the refresh. I'm sure they will fully commit to that, and that will probably be the norm from this point going forward for Cracker Barrel for a long time. What I don't think is going to last a while, what I think is ephemeral, is people avoiding Cracker Barrel and the stock plummeting. I think this will follow the trend of most shit where once it stops being flavor of the month, people will just go back to business as usual and they'll eat at Cracker Barrel when convenient or with their grandparents or something. Like, they're not going to be canceling trips to Cracker Barrel a week from now. So I'm sure it'll probably rebound to some extent or even completely. Maybe it ends up being successful for them. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to stay like this from this point going forward. But I guess I could be wrong about that. Maybe people are just like, you know what, fuck Cracker Barrel for this, and they're done with it. That's possible. I just find it unlikely because that almost never happens. For any business, really. Anyway, though, just wanted to yap about this. That's about it. See ya. Yeah, I'm sure you've noticed I'm wearing the same outfit, same clothes, because it's been over 24 hours since my last shower. I've been busy. What are you going to do about it? Call the stink police? Get the odor officers out here? I'll shower here shortly. Today, we're doing something we haven't done in a long time. We're looking at an apology video. This one I could not resist talking about. It is a shockingly bad apology videos, even when you consider all of the classics we've seen come out over the decade. It's a TikTok creator named Michael Duvall. To summarize a lot of the lore, just dropping you some tidbits on it, Michael Duvall was a preschool teacher who produced OnlyFans content at the preschool he worked at. You'll hear it come directly from his mouth in a moment, but occasionally he would take nude photos of himself in the bathroom and even had a video of him masturbating and ejaculating onto the toilet seat, which apparently had like a training seat on it, like for kids to learn how to use the bathroom. It's fucking gross.
I guess let's just start from the very beginning. And 2020 is when I made my OnlyFans. 21 about is when I met my ex-fiance and we got engaged in 2022. And we also broke up in 2022. But I would say that this whole OnlyFans story starts from when we're still together.
He spends the first like 3 minutes here talking about his previous relationship and how it kind of got him back into doing OnlyFans content. He said it was a bad relationship, a lot of bad things happened, felt like he was being forced to do things on OnlyFans. Eventually the relationship ends, and then all of this stuff with the preschool happens. So to me it really feels like it's kind of not relevant to the matter at hand here, how you got back into the OnlyFans content, when what's actually being discussed here with the preschool stuff was choices you made by yourself way after that horrible relationship ended. So it feels to me kind of like he's mentioning this past relationship as a way of like kind of subtly pushing the blame onto his ex for how things got to where they were. It just doesn't seem like it was a good opener here for something that's supposed to be about taking accountability, because it feels like he's immediately like avoiding it. Like, it really does seem like he's just serving up a yappy meal and we don't even get a cool Minecraft Steve toy with it.
Now, growing up how I did, it's no shock that I was really excited seeing all this money that was coming in. And so I tried really hard. I posted hundreds, if not thousands of times a day in so many Reddit pages, on my OnlyFans, on my Twitter, just stuff like that. And as you know, I was working as a preschool teacher, technically pre-K, pre-kindergarten. And so I had a lot of free time at work where I would post on those apps.
Posting thousands of times per day is unhinged. Not even those rage bait Twitter accounts that drool on that platform day and night trying to engagement farm for $15 at the end of the week get that many posts per day. That is a crazy amount, especially while at work. How would you possibly, as a pre-kindergarten teacher, think that it's appropriate to just be posting all day on these platforms, and for that kind of content too? That's a fucking disgusting thought process where you'd go from like, all right kids, nap time, go to sleep. Alright, perfect. Now I can make my 300th post a day about spreading my chocolate starfish on this Reddit page, and then I've got to check my OnlyFans to see if anyone's requested me to do a little sounding. Like, that is lunacy. He mentions that he had a ton of free time at work here. I can't imagine there was that much free time to make hundreds, if not thousands, of posts on these platforms. Like, when were you ever even doing your job of teaching pre-kindergarten?
I did go to the bathroom a few times and snap a nude. A lot of the reason why I did that was because I was getting paid by people, and now when I said that, people thought I was getting paid by, like, I don't know if you could say this word, PDF files, you know what I'm trying to say. People thought I was catering to them, and now with some of those Reddit groups I was in, I should not have been in. They were definitely like dad, son, trans girls. I got kicked out of a lot of groups for like not even fitting the criteria, and it was definitely weird. But when you're in sex work, I don't know. I was just too blinded by the money that was coming in. I know that's no excuse.
Here comes the cold water. It was pedophiles that were paying you to do those things. He keeps denying that, saying that it was, you know, just people wanting to see him do it. It had nothing to do with the location or anything like that. But here comes the truth, like a fucking boxing glove out of a wall, the sock in the jaw. That is exactly who it was, and a lot of people were no doubt paying him because it was in a preschool and shit. He took photos in the fucking preschool classroom he taught at, too. They weren't bare butt-cheek photos and nudes or anything, but he would take photos in his actual preschool classroom with his ass sticking out towards the camera. How are you going to say that you weren't selling these to pedophiles? They clearly knew you were in a child environment doing these sexual things.
So then fast forward to the day I took my first nude at work. I honestly don't remember it, but I do remember that I would get paid like say $45 to take a picture. They'd say go take it, and I would. Now I never did any of this while clocked in. I wasn't allowed to have bathroom breaks like that unless it was an emergency, of course. So when I was in the bathroom, I was upstairs, classrooms were downstairs, I was far away from everyone, and the teacher's bathroom that was locked. That's another thing people are confused about, because they see that the toilets had like little training seats on it, and there was 2 toilets in the bathroom, which was kind of weird. And I think like originally a long time ago, those were kids' bathrooms, and we would use them in an emergency, but for the most part, those were for the teachers.
Like a suitcase, there is a lot to unpack here in just this small section, so let's start at chapter 1 here. He claims he never went dicko mode while on the clock at work. He said that when he took those nudes, it was when he was off the clock. Now let's flex our neurons here for a moment, activating 100% of our brain power for a little Jimmy Neutron blast. If you are off the clock, why would you not just go home and take those photos then? Why do them at that preschool? My thought process is the reason he would take the photos there at that preschool is because he knew that that's what people wanted from him. He likes to claim that they weren't pedophiles and he wasn't catering to these fucking freaks. Yet, if he was off the clock while doing this, why wouldn't he have just gone home if the location truly didn't matter? Food for thought. Now moving on to the next piece of this fucking gross puzzle. He says that the bathroom that he would take those nudes in or film the masturbating videos in was the teacher's restroom, which is far removed from the children's restroom. It's on, you know, the upper level, and it was locked, so that way kids couldn't access it. This was the teacher's only commode. Yet, he calls attention to the fact that there is a children's training toilet seat on there, as well as another toilet, like a tiny toilet for kids. And he even does mention that sometimes this still was used by kids in an emergency. He blows his wad, fucking dumps a load onto the children's toilet seat in this restroom. Even if he's telling the truth about it being not during work hours, off the clock, and it is separated from the other children's bathroom, this is still an incredibly fucked up thing to do, and it's very clearly in a restroom that does have child things in it.
I'm not excusing anything I did. There's definitely no excuse, but I do just want to say that it would have happened at that time at any job I worked at. If I was working at the movie theater, it still would have happened there instead. It just so happened to be at the daycare, which makes everything so much more worse.
No excuses whatsoever, except for the excuse he's making right now. He's speaking about this like it was some kind of natural disaster, like an unavoidable calamity, like an asteroid hitting the Earth. He's talking like Thanos. This was inevitable. I was going to be stroking my shit till it shot yogurt ropes on a toilet seat for OnlyFans content. It was just a matter of when and where. Could have been a movie theater. Could have been your grandpappy's outhouse, but damn it, it happened to be this daycare that I worked at. Like, what the fuck, man? The audacity for him to try and compare what he did at that daycare to it happening to him at a movie theater, if he happened to work at a movie theater, is a crazy leap. You were a preschool teacher. People were sending their kids to you under the assumption that you were going to educate them and those kids would be safe. And in that environment, you were making explicit content. You were making sexual posts. You were making pornography in the fucking bathrooms, man. That is not even in the same ballpark as if you went into a movie theater bathroom and ejaculated on the toilet seat. It's also crazy that he's trying to say, like, it just so happened to be at that daycare. Goober, you chose that location. You made the conscious decision to film that content and take those photos at the daycare. It wasn't just some random chance where you happened to spawn in at the daycare and had to film it right then and there, or else you would have fucking died or something. You made the choice to film it there. You could have just waited until you went home and did it at your house in privacy, as opposed to doing it at your job at a daycare where children go. Like, I don't know why he's trying to make it sound like, oh, it was just completely, like, it just happened to be there. He did that on purpose.
There's no reason or excuse I shouldn't have waited till I got home. I guess I was just too focused on the money, and at that time I hadn't started my social media career, or maybe I just started it, but I was really focused on the success I was getting on OnlyFans and all the money I was earning, and I used that money to start my shopping vlogs, and that's how I got started on social media full time.
He finally mentions that he could have just went home and did it. He has no reason why he couldn't have just gone home and done it. However, I truly think that he knew what he was making and for whom he was making it for. That's what I believe. There is a reason why these fucking weirdos were requesting him to take these nudes and make this sexual content during his time at the preschool. They wanted him to be at that location for that content. And I really think that Michael Duvall knew that and was probably concerned that if he tried to fulfill those requests outside of the daycare, he would lose their business. He would stop making as much money as he was currently making from them. Now, he does say that it was 4 or 5 posts that people had pointed out, and he has taken down since and is no longer earning any money off of them. But the fact he did this at all in any capacity, even one time, is still just inexcusable.
Being successful on social media. Should I have done it? No. It was gross. It doesn't excuse anything, but at the same time, I hate when people call me names when I know it's not true, or people assume that I was doing stuff that I wasn't doing just because it was at a daycare. Where it was had nothing to do with what I was doing or what I was putting out or the people I was talking to. Those people did not know where I worked. Those people did not care where I work. I remember I did post in some of those groups before, like, I'm a teacher. I was trying to have that shock factor. I was trying to have that thing that makes me kind of different.
A broken record. He keeps harping on this point that the location didn't matter, but he immediately contradicts that by saying that he would even advertise that he's a teacher to these clients as like a shock thing to stand out. So wouldn't you think that since you have said you are a teacher and they are requesting and paying you to take these photos, that the location does matter? It's not like these people saw you were a teacher and then started paying you to take photos building a rocket ship with assless chaps on. They were asking you to take these photos at the daycare. Like, I really think it should be pretty clear that the location did matter to them. At least, that's what I think. I think that's pretty obvious. That's my opinion on it. I don't know why he's trying to deny that the location was, like, a selling point to these people when he is actively saying that he would tell them that he is a teacher.
And I know my full story, I know the truth, but that does not excuse what I did at the preschool, and that does not excuse... I also have racist tweets, which I know if I address this, people will bring that up.
Now, this is where his apology takes a crazy turn I haven't seen before. He is breaking new ground, a pioneer in the apology meta. While addressing the current subject, he then gives something else here that nobody was talking about until he brought it up. In the middle of this discussion, he then says, oh, also I have racist tweets. I have racist tweets as well. And it's like, whoa, wait, where did that come from?
Tweets from like 2014 where I said the most insane things. I said things about animals I shouldn't have said, like abusive, not sexual. And I said things about people, groups of people, black people, Asian people. I was very much unhinged and kind of wild as a kid, and I don't want to use the house I lived in as an excuse. There really is no excuse.
This tiny little section here comes in like a surprise post-credits scene. I don't know where this came from, out of nowhere. He just brings this shit in out of left field about his racist tweets in the past. And like some things he said about animals in the past. Very odd.
I was also doing a lot of drugs, and I know I said I didn't want to bring up any excuses, but that's just partially why I don't really remember everything, and so seeing it come to light, it's almost like me seeing it for the first time, because I've completely shut it out of my mind, blocked it out.
What? So now you're saying you were doing a lot of drugs at the time, so you don't even remember a lot of these things? A little confused here on the plot. Were you doing drugs while working as a pre-kindergarten teacher? Like you were showing up to work high, and because you had done so many drugs, it led you to think it was okay to make that content? Or are you saying you were doing so many drugs at the time that you did that content sober, but then the drugs blocked it out of your mind, like clouded it? I'm a little lost now on what this claim is about the drugs and not even remembering doing a lot of it.
And to tell you the truth from my mouth, because I know hearing it from rumors, it can sound a lot worse than it was. I promise you no kids were ever involved. What I did in that bathroom had nothing to do about the building I was in. I know I let a lot of people down, and the people I let down the most is mothers and people with kids and people who thought they could trust me and knew who I was. I just want to say I'm truly sorry. I never meant to make anyone question the type of person I was. I never meant to hurt anyone. I never meant to make those mistakes. And
kind of nuts to me how he says that it sounds a lot worse than it was. Buddy, it was that bad. Like, even all the things that he shed some light on only served to confirm everything that had come out about it. Like, he doesn't really, you know, offer any kind of other explanation that makes it not as bad as people thought. It really is just as bad as people thought. The rest of the video, though, is spent with him saying that he's sorry to mothers and people that he let down with all of this, and he does keep mentioning that the building didn't matter, which, again, he contradicted himself earlier when he said that he advertised himself as, like, a teacher to these people, so I think it did matter. Like, they were requesting that. Like, I think it very much did matter. He doesn't want to admit it here, but I really do believe that he knew that it mattered. Anyway, though, the apology itself is still just not very good. It is a very interesting strategy to also throw in like the racist tweets out of nowhere that he decided to mention on his own accord. And even though he said multiple times that he's not making any excuses, he does then immediately try and make excuses throughout the apology. Overall, not the strongest apology. That's about it. So yeah, I'm late to this one, but I finally learned what labubus were on stream a little bit ago. And now, since I watched a couple videos on the lore breakdown explaining labubus to a Neanderthal, I've been inundated with labubu-focused content. Now, if you were like me, living under a rock like Patrick Star and had no idea what labubus were, you thought this was some kind of like spin-off of b.diddy, like some kind of new artist hitting the scene, well, I'll give you the cliff notes. In a nutshell, labubus are just like a collectible toy. They're like a tiny little monster guy. Well, I guess there's many type of labubi, so it's not just like one, because there's like a bunch of different ones. And what you do is you pay a lot of money for it and then attach it like a keychain to your designer bags. Or I guess you don't have to. You don't have to accessorize with it. You can also just worship it or flex it. In my personal opinion, the reason it got so big is because of the gacha mechanics. It's a loot box, fundamentally. They have blind boxes of labubis, and what you do is you buy the labubu, you don't know what's inside of it, so as EA would say, you get the surprise mechanics of opening it and getting whatever RNG decided you would get, whatever fate blessed or cursed you with, whether it was the one you wanted or a lump of dog shit, a whole fucking cow pie. That's kind of the main business strategy of it. Labubu. What the fuck is labubu? I keep seeing that name. They're like stuffed animals, right? Oh, here. What is labubu?
So if you're ready to explore the magic behind these irresistible collectibles, let's get started. My name's Doyle.
It looks like the thing from Where the Wild Things Are. Does it have like a deep lore or something? Like a TV show associated with it? Like a Hello Kitty or something?
And welcomed a huge interest in collectible figurines. And that decision totally paid off. Wang Ning is now a billionaire.
It's crazy how huge that industry is.
Globally, with queues wrapping around. One big reason is their use of blind boxes. If you haven't seen them before, blind boxes are packages with no indication of which figure is inside.
God, everything has been gotcha-fied. Everything is like a loot box and gotcha mechanics these days. I see. That's absolutely a huge contributing factor for why this is so fucking big then. Unbelievable how big gambling is. It's crazy. Like trading cards. It's like trading cards if you only buy singles and only want one of those cards. I guess you could make the comparison. So like it's like me wanting to make a deck and I need a specific card, so then I buy the mystery singles hoping I get that card.
Fun fact, labubu is a girl. You'll have seen the TikTok frenzy of people bathing, gluing braces to its teeth, and even giving it facials. From classic designs to collaborations and limited...
Why? What the fuck? Well, you know what? At least they're using it. That's cool, I guess. I mean, it gets a use, as opposed to like my statues that just fucking sit here and I like stare at them. I mean, I guess that's cool. Multi-purpose.
Why did labubu get so popular? First, labubu has a unique look that stands out. It's not your typical cute kawaii character. It has an edgy, mysterious feel that makes it kawaii, mischievous, and freaking adorable.
I don't know about
However,
edgy.
It would be crazy to forget to mention one person, La Lisa from Blackpink, the K-pop group. Her unboxings and wild love for labubus follow her everywhere, from concerts.
Okay, that makes sense. Question answered, I get it now. Okay, now it checks out. You have gotcha mechanics, the mystery box, plus a K-pop idol rocking one. Yep, that was always going to take off. I see. Rabbit hole goes deep. I just found a video about Australia's Labubu King.
Sales peaked at around $21 billion, with the Australian market making up $260 million of that, as social media continues to drive hype around collectibles.
Oh, okay, it was collectibles in general. I thought it was $21 billion for just Labubus. I was gonna say they're gonna beat Pokemon. Okay, that makes much more sense. Jesus Christ.
We get a lot of slack on Instagram, but because of how much stock we have, oh, you took all our stock, we're collectors and we want the box and you're triple the price and this and that. But unfortunately, people don't understand how a business model works, you know? No. People perfectly understand how the business model works. You try and squat on as much inventory as possible so there's scarcity, and then people have FOMO, so they want to make sure they get it, so they'll pay the extra markup that you just drive the price to the fucking roof. They came and shopped with me 2 weeks ago, bought labubus for the kids. Someone stole her labubu from her bag.
You're kidding.
Yes, at school.
Tough.
And then I speak to my daughter.
Labubu robbery.
My daughter's got 7
Capital
on her,
punishment
She's
required.
got every generation.
You're stealing off kids.
Bro, it's not normal. Not normal. So yeah, I told her take all the labubus.
Unfortunately, it is very normal now. It's super fucking normal now. This exact same thing happens in Pokemon. People literally fighting each other over Pokemon restocks at GameStop and Costco and Best Buy. I didn't know it was also happening for Labubu. This is news to me. So I think it's pretty clear. We have tons and tons of evidence to support that the #1 strategy you can use for making a business successful, like the DNA that you're going to want to splice into your product, is gambling. Gambling is the chemical X to the Powerpuff Girls recipe here. That is how you find explosive growth. By adding gambling, it took Labubus from just like a normal collectible toy to the thing. It's a pattern repeated in every industry. Like right now, the most profitable games are gotcha games. Gotcha mechanics, they're the new hotness. And adding like mystery elements and gambling to all kinds of products has been a tried and true formula for a long time. I don't need to give you the countless examples there. I'm sure you can think of about 1,000 off the top of your head. But now it's being introduced into collectible toys like Labubus, and it has worked extremely well. So well, in fact, that just like the Pokemon craze we're experiencing, people are fighting over it, getting into big brawls, piling up corpses to get their grubby paws on some labubu.
Oh my days. All for labubus.
No shit, it's for labubus. Is there a better cause to die for? This is like the most noble thing to sacrifice your life for. Your country and labubus. That's it, really. And this is far from the only brawl I've seen. It's pretty interesting. And it's gotten so bad that now people are giving like warnings to other people that might be trying to get their hands on some, because apparently it's just kind of dangerous now.
There was even a fight, like an actual fight. What the fuck? Would not recommend. Literally, there's people in balaclavas running to the front, apparently like just surrounded the workers to grab all the tickets. So yeah, I didn't get tickets. That was a waste in getting up early.
Goddamn, they got Cobra Commander out there with his henchmen in the balaclavas going to steal all the labubu from everyone else. It's pandemonium. Labubu are huge right now. I don't know how long this obsession will last, or like this fixation on labubu. I think by adding so much like gambling to it, it probably has more staying power, especially in this age of social media where people just continue to endlessly fuel hype around things like this. I feel like it probably will go for quite a while with people just trying to like flex their labubu and do like blind box openings and shit for it. But who knows, maybe it dwindles and dies real quick and people are left holding the bag, a whole closet full of labubu that they can't sell and can't flex anymore because it'll be viewed as lame. Couldn't tell you. All I know is I finally learned about what this shit is. That's about it. See ya. Hello, I just wanted to give you all an actual update on the P. Diddy trial in the midst of this flood of nonsense that's spreading around about it. Those AI videos making garbage claims like, a new key witness was called to the stand. It's David Copperfield, who dropped the bombshell about his secret MySpace page that told all. This nonsense is just going insano style, so I wanted to tap in here real quick and give you a brief, real update on something very important that just happened in the trial in regards to Kid Cudi's testimony. Now, so far, there have been quite a few very powerful testimonies that are strengthening the case against him, I would say, and Kid Cudi's is the most recent, and also the one that's had a lot of buzz and a lot of incorrect information about. Now, for those that aren't familiar with the lore here, the reason Kid Cudi would be called here is because he and Cassie had a relationship. And according to Cassie, in her civil suits, when P. Diddy found out about it, he was enraged and took action against Kid Cudi. Also, there are tons and tons of claims that have multiple supporting witnesses about the physical abuse that he inflicted upon Cassie. But in regards to Kid Cudi on the stand, it was focused on what P. Diddy allegedly did to him in retaliation, finding out that he had a relationship with Cassie. So Kid Cudi went up there and started to corroborate pretty much everything. So one thing that he recalls is that he had received a phone call from Sean Combs' former assistant, Capricorn Clark. Now, Sean Combs, that's the real name of P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Puffy Flavor Camp Headmaster, aka Bubba Baby Oil Big Boy. And this phone call that he received from Capricorn Clark was letting him know P. Diddy was inside of his house, and then Kid Cudi started driving home, called P. Diddy, and said that he sounded calm, and responded that he was waiting for him to arrive so they could speak. Kid Cudi also said that Clark sounded very scared, sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Kid Cudi said ultimately no one was inside, but his dog was locked in a bathroom, whereas he normally lets his dog roam around the house freely, and some of the gifts he received from Chanel had also been opened. That's why you're seeing headlines like this pop up, by the way, about P. Diddy breaking into his home and unwrapping his fucking Christmas presents. It's referring to those Chanel gifts. Anyway, apparently after unboxing those gifts, the Grinch was no longer there, but Kid Cudi told the court that he had planned on confronting and fighting P. Diddy for this, but eventually decided against it because he didn't know like how serious it would be, didn't know who P. Diddy was with, so he ultimately called the police and made a report instead. He then also made a mention that his dog's behavior, he claims, changed and became more jittery and on edge all the time. I found this little tidbit kind of interesting, where that statement about the dog is something that was actually kind of contentious here for the defense attorneys, saying that they didn't want Kid Cudi to testify about his dog being traumatized by the experience because he did not want dog lovers on the jury to be swayed. So the judge said Kid Cudi could only talk about the immediate impact on his dog, not any long-term consequences. Now, the big thing, the major thing that a lot of people remember is the claim that P. Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car. So on that, Kid Cudi does say that he believes P. Diddy was behind the Molotov cocktail attack on his car in January 2012. He said he got a call from his dog sitter that his car was on fire, and by the time he had returned home, law enforcement officers were already on the scene, and he saw a Molotov cocktail and major damage to the vehicle, and then provided a lot of photos of the damage. He also mentioned that after the car incident, the two met at a hotel in 2012 and said that Sean Combs was standing there staring out the window with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain. And then they discussed the relationship he had with Cassie. We discussed pretty much the whole story about how me and Cassie first started to date, to what it was, to how it ended. He said that P. Diddy apologized for all the bullshit and it helped Kid Cudi find some peace with it. And then he also mentions that he remembered Cassie talking about relationship problems all the way back into 2010, and that when they started dating in 2011, Cassie told him that there had been physical abuse in their relationship, but didn't mention sexual abuse at the time. Another quick thing to mention is that Kid Cudi agreed with the defense that he felt he had been played by Cassie in regards to love, like their relationship there. And another thing is, he mentioned that he knew P. Diddy was violent, is what he said. So overall, it was a really big testimony, and a lot of what came from this corroborated the claims from Cassie about a lot of these things. This is obviously a really huge testimony here, but it's far from the only one. A lot of the testimonies that we've been hearing have been very big, at least in my opinion. Even ones like this, which are here just to demonstrate a pattern of P. Diddy's conduct, I think are huge. So, hotel executive Frederick Zamora took this stand in order to talk about the internal notes that hotel staff kept regarding his behavior. So his customer profile had several notes to staff, including one that warned he always spills candle wax on everything and uses excessive amounts of oil. Everyone already knows this fucking freak is the Primark of dildos and baby oil. I'm sure you've all seen the headlines. This hotel executive comes in here once again to solidify in court this pattern of conduct, like this behavior from him and how common and widespreading it is. Like, there have been a ton of big testimonies, but the reason I want to focus on Kid Cudi's is because his has become very controversial. Online, there was a big debate about him snitching and people calling him a rat. Young Thug had even made a tweet saying, like, damn, he's a rat, which I thought was fake. I thought that was a fake tweet. It was deleted shortly after he made it, but I was really shocked to see the response to Kid Cudi's testimony here. First of all, he was subpoenaed. Second of all, he's a fucking civilian. It's not like he's out there abiding by street code or anything. He is doing exactly what he should here, testifying against a monster. This is P. fucking Diddy. He has been called the Epstein of the music industry. The evidence against this guy and all of his crimes dates back decades of overwhelming evidence and degeneracy to some of the most abhorrent crimes you could think of for a guy like this. Like testifying against P. Diddy is something people should applaud. I'm very surprised so many people had an issue with Kid Cudi coming out here and spilling the beans on Puff Daddy. It's just crazy to me. But I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, because right now there is actually a very big Free Diddy movement. I shit you not. It is as pathetic as it sounds. There's a lot of people that, some of them have been paid. It has been proven that P. Diddy's associates have paid people to try and shill to, like, support his innocence, but there are some people that are so brain-rotted and poisoned mentally that they'll get mad at the people that are bringing this evidence forward. Evidence which, by the way, you yourself can look at. There is video footage that P. Diddy himself has also acknowledged. There is so much documented evidence for his crimes for years that you can easily get access to if you want. And it's just crazy to me that anyone's having a big hoopla and making a big stink about people coming forward, corroborating that and talking about it here. Like, I think that's extremely important. I don't know why anyone would be trying to, like, vilify people that are doing their best to hold an absolute fucking villain, like an evil piece of shit like P. Diddy, finally hold them accountable to face justice. Now, of course, he is still going through the justice system. He is still going through the legal process, so he hasn't been found guilty or anything yet. But for people to come forward and just say things like, free Diddy, he's done absolutely nothing wrong, Kid Cudi's a piece of shit for snitching, like, that is so unhinged. That lunacy is diabolical, really. So anyway, I wanted to give you like a little update to the P. Diddy trial and where it's at. There has been so much going on with it, but the Kid Cudi one I think is probably the biggest so far. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.